Good to have you back with us here on Ed Schultz News and Commentary from Washington, D.C., Center for American Progress. Joining us now, Ruth Conniff. She is the editor of the Progressive Magazine. And the White House, I think, having closed-door fun on this conversation about whether Ted Cruz is eligible to be president of the United States, all the way to the point where Josh Earnest commented on it yesterday.
It would be quite ironic if, after 7 or 8 years of drama around the president's birth certificate, if Republican primary voters were to choose Senator Cruz as their nominee, somebody who actually wasn't born in the United States and only 18 months ago renounced his Canadian citizenship.
Ruth Conniff, is this a problem for the Republicans? Good to have you with us.
Yeah, great to talk to you, Ed. It's funny, and it's going to, the backstory is really just that Ted Cruz is killing it in Iowa, and Donald Trump is pulling out the birther argument, which has gotten him so far, right? So we're going to have to hear a lot of this kind of nonsense now, because Trump is getting serious about fighting the only other Republican in the field right now who's given him a run for it.
What kind of moves do you think Cruz is making in Iowa? What's working, what's not working? There are some polls that are favorable to him right now. He's certainly in a different position today and this week than he was 3 months ago in Iowa. What's happening?
Well, he has come on really suddenly and strongly, and I think it's largely due to the evangelical Christian base, which is so strong in Iowa, and he really makes a connection. He's worked very hard on the ground with those people, and he's turning out big crowds, and he's poised to potentially win the state now. It's not because the Republican establishment is looking for an alternative to Donald Trump. I mean, Cruz is very similar to Donald Trump fundamentally, but I think he's got a more credible case to make to religious conservatives.
And so you think that this eligibility issue has come up because of his surge in the polls?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. I mean, we knew about this, right? We've known about this forever. And, to be fair, it is settled law. I mean, he is a United States citizen. It's okay that he was born in Canada. His mom was a U.S. citizen. But that didn't stop 8 years of this nonsense with Obama. So I don't think, the legal issue is not the issue. It's a political sideshow.
If you look back at the recent Iowa caucuses, rural Iowa goes hard conservative right. In fact, if you look at the map where Mike Huckabee, when he won Iowa, I mean, he took all of rural Iowa. Is that what Cruz is doing now?
I think that's right.
Is that basically the same crowd?
I mean, these are the folks who picked Rick Santorum. I mean, it's not surprising that they would pick a far-right evangelical conservative. The more notable thing in the Republican primary field is that, we've got Trump. We had a burst for Ben Carson, who's now fading. We have Cruz. And then we have some pretty lackluster candidates who have, single-digit poll numbers. So what's not happening is that there's somebody else waiting in the wings who's not far right and, just more of a demagogue than we've really ever seen on a path to the nomination in this country.
Yeah. Ruth Conniff, I want your response to Juanita Broderick tweeting out about Bill Clinton. What does that mean, if anything, in this election cycle, in this news cycle?
More stuff from the past is surfacing, right? This was always a risk for the Clintons. They know that. The rest of America was not as obsessed with the blue dress as people were inside the Beltway. I was there for that. I used to fly back and forth between Washington, D.C. and Wisconsin and tried to point out to the teams of journalists who were really, really excited about the Monica Lewinsky story and the other, philandering stories around Bill Clinton, that this was not actually what was moving the nation. But it's politically damaging, and I think it's part of the package with the Clintons, and I actually think they've survived it over and over, and I think that Hillary Clinton can certainly survive it. Again, after all, it wasn't her.
Yeah, it wasn't her.
Right.
Although Broderick mentions Hillary Clinton in her conversations, saying that there was communication there. It's unusual that a 73-year-old woman would have an axe to grind, but she says it never goes away.
Right. I mean, I think that this is legitimate. It's legitimate to talk about sexual harassment, and it matters. And feminists were in a bind back in 1997 when this stuff came out, because it should matter, and it gets kind of ugly when you start stifling individual accusers. I mean, look at this hideous drama now we're having with Bill Cosby.
Well,
it's brutal.
It is brutal, and it's how do you put credibility to one and not to the other? And that's the hard thing of it all.
I mean, Hillary was right that there is a vast right-wing conspiracy. Remember when she said that, it sounded kind of loopy. Well, actually, we've gotten so familiar with the Koch brothers, with the network of right-wing media. We're really familiar now with the influence of Fox News. We're talking about this birther stuff that's preposterous. We know now that there is this spin machine, this attack machine that is designed to make the most of these stories. But that can be true at the same time that sexual harassment and misbehavior is a true problem. It's a true problem for women, and it's a bit of a problem for a candidate who's running as a candidate of women.
No doubt. Ruth Conniff, always great to visit. Thanks so much.
Yeah, nice to talk to you, Ed.